What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making a super people tier list on the weapons in this game. Now this tier list is going to be based off the best guns to use to get wins and just high kill games in general, man. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys drop a like, and if you guys really enjoyed the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications to get notified every single time I post a new video. Also, come check me out over on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming every single day. Trust me, it's a lot of fun over there, man. But now let's get on to the tier list. So like I said, we're going to be basing this off of the best guns to use to just get wins in high kill games, and all these characters down here we're just going to be ranking later. It's not going to be a part of this video. So starting off with the AKM, I actually think that this is one of the better ARs in this game right now. The only problem with it is just the absurd amount of recoil on it, but overall has a really good damage profile, and I think it should go into A tier. There are some better assault rifles in it, but it is one of the top tier assault rifles in the game. Next we got the F2000. If you guys watched Zed's video while I was in there and I was saying that the F2000 is S tier, I actually kind of changed my mind about that. I think it's the second best assault rifle in the game, but I don't think it belongs into S tier. I think it actually belongs into top of A tier above the AKM. Overall, it does pretty good damage, doesn't really have that much recoil, but I don't think it is the best AR in the game, so I'm going to put this up at A tier. G3 is one of the worst guns in this game. It's one of the worst single shot guns in general, but off a drop, if you get it and you know there's just one guy in front of you, he doesn't have that much armor, it's not a horrible weapon, so I wouldn't throw it in D tier, but I'm going to throw it in C because it is extremely weak and towards late game you just shouldn't be using this gun at all. Even if it's like a mythical version, it sucks. For the Car 98, now this is actually, I personally think this is the best sniper in the game that you could actually get off of ground loot, not counting like supply drops and everything. But snipers on this game are generally weak. They don't really one shot to the head that often, so I'm going to throw this over at B tier. There are a lot of better long range weapons, but like I said, I personally think it is the best sniper in the game that you can get off of ground loot. The M1 Garand is a really good gun, but the only problem with it is you got to actually be able to hit your shots with it, but otherwise it does a ton of damage, and I'm pretty sure you could two shot people to the head with it. It just does an extreme amount of damage, so we're going to be throwing this up over at A tier. Actually, maybe I'm gonna I'm gonna throw it to the top of B. I think it is literally just there at A tier, but I don't think just because it is a little bit of a higher skill gap gun to use, it'll make it a little bit just less consistent to go for wins and high kill games. So we're going to be throwing it at the top of B tier. M16, this is actually a really weak gun, but I wouldn't rate it at D tier. I would actually just rate it a little bit above the G3. If you pick it up right off drop, it's not that bad, but towards the late game using it, it's not that great at all. So we're going to be throwing it at the top of C tier. It just doesn't do that much damage. It doesn't have that much recoil either, but the damage is just horrible on it, so we don't want to use it. All right, so now for the M4. The M4 is actually just the best gun in this game in general. It just has no recoil. It does a pretty good amount of damage. It's just overall the most consistent gun to use in this game. So personally, I would rate this as S tier, is the best AR in this game. It's just way too consistent to just not have it S tier yet. As long as you pick up an M4 and a long range weapon, you're just going to have a really easy game from there. So yeah, the best assault rifle in this game, just straight up. Now for the Mini R, this is actually one of the best single shot guns in this game just because you could spam it. It has no recoil, especially close up. You can literally just torch everybody with this thing. I'm going to rate it at the top A tier, one below the AKM, just because I do like the AKM a little bit more than this. I don't really have the best trigger finger in the world, so maybe if you have a good trigger finger, you would put this like at the top of A tier, but like I said, I don't personally. So I'm going to put this towards the bottom of A tier. The MP5, off a rip, as soon as you land, you pick this up on floor loot. It's actually a pretty good gun, has no recoil, very consistent. Towards the end game, the damage starts lacking a little bit, and that's the only problem with this gun. Otherwise, it's a pretty good gun, and if it's your like signature weapon, it does an all right bit of damage. So I'm going to rate this at the bottom of B tier. Overall, a pretty decent gun, but towards end game, it gets a little bad. The PPSH used to be actually an S tier SMG, but it's not anymore. We're going to be putting it down at A tier, one above the AKM. They did nerf this thing, and they nerfed the recoil to it. The recoil does get a little absurd at some points, but if you pick this up off a rip, you're pretty much just set. Like let's say you land med center and you get a PPSH, you're pretty much just set for the whole entire early game. So I'm going to rate this at A tier. It's just a really good gun, a lot of damage, a little bit of recoil now, but it is controllable as long as you down the enemy quick enough. All right, so next gun we have is the R870. Pretty much all the shotguns in this game are a C tier gun. I'm going to put the SA12 at the same exact point here. Both of these guns just don't do a ton of damage for close range. The shotgun should be doing a lot more damage than it actually is doing. It's just overall not a consistent gun. If you pick it up a floor loot, sometimes you're going to be killing people with it, sometimes it's just horrible. So both of those shotguns are just overall bad guns. Don't pick it up, but they're not the worst guns in this game, so we're going to be putting it at the bottom of C. Scar H is actually a really good gun. The only problem with this gun, it has a bit of recoil, and the other problem is the magazine size on it If you get an extended mag, it's a good gun. It can hold 40 bullets, but otherwise it's only holding 20. So it's not the most consistent gun in this game. We're going to put this towards one under the M1 Grand. I'd rather have an M1 Grand for long range. Actually, Scar H is not really that good long range just because of the recoil, and it's not one of the best ARs in this game. Like I said, just because honestly with that magazine, if it had a good magazine, it's probably up here with the AKM just because of its damage, but you just need that mag. So yeah, we're going to be putting it towards the top of B. Woody SKS, I think this is the best one-shot gun in this game, or just single fire gun in this game. It's good for long range, it's good for close range. If you spam it when people are right in front of you, you're going to be downing people incredibly quick. So it's just overall one of the best guns in this game. We're going to be putting this at the top of A tier. I would actually no, I'm not going to put it S tier. I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put it up over at S tier just because this would be my ideal loadout right now. It used to be the Kar 98, but the Kar 98 just doesn't one shot to the head that consistently. So overall, in a good distance, if you repeatedly land shots, the SKS is just a really good gun. So I'm going to be putting it up at S tier with the M4. The SP, this is one of the worst guns in this game. This is a double barrel shotgun. Like I said, shotguns in this game do no damage. You only have 2 shots in this thing, and it does literally no damage. If you down somebody and he's point blank right in front of you and you shoot 2 shells into him, he's literally not even gonna die. Literally, I think this is the worst gun in this game. Do not pick it up. If you pick it up, I'd honestly rather use fists than this thing, bro. It's horrible. The UMP9 off rip as soon as you land, it's not that bad of a gun. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. Later on towards end game, it just doesn't really compete that much with damage. So we're gonna be throwing this thing towards the top of C tier. It would be B, but just towards late game, it just doesn't really do that much damage. So we're going to be putting it at C tier. The Uzi Pro, we're actually going to match it with the UMP. The Uzi sometimes could be really good, but you need a magazine with it. And towards head game, like the other SMGs, they don't really do that much damage. So overall, it's just not that consistent of a gun. So we're going to be leaving it at C tier. The Vector is one of the best SMGs in this game. I'm actually going to be putting it up at A tier. I honestly think it would be an S tier gun if you have a magazine with it. If you get a legendary Vector, man, you guys might have seen it from my fastest killing SMG video. This thing just rips through people, bro. It is so easy to use too. And like, if you just get a good mag with it, like a legendary Vector, a good mag, you pretty much just straight up win the game. There's nobody that could beat you in a close range gunfight. But the only reason it's at the bottom of A tier is because it needs that mag. Otherwise, if it had a good magazine size, I'm throwing it S tier. But like I said, it needs that mag, so it's A tier. The W1887, this is also one of the worst guns in this game. It's a shotgun. It's a lever shotgun, so it takes a lot of time to shoot each shell. So overall, it's one of the worst floor loot guns in this game. Really bad early game, really bad late game. It's just not a good gun. Do not pick it up. I will say it is better than the double barrel, so we're going to be putting it above the double barrel, but it's just not a good gun at all, so just don't pick it up. All right, so for the last gun, we have the X4. This thing actually can one shot to the head. It's a little bit more powerful than the Kar 98. It's just still not that consistent. I'm actually going to put this under the Kar 98 just because if you had a mag, you could have 5 bullets in it. Otherwise, you only have 1. It can't really one shot to the head that often. It does sometimes, but just not really that often. So in terms of snipers for consistency, I'd rather have a Kar 98. But it's an all right gun. I'm not going to throw it in C tier. I think it is B tier. It's really just pretty much a toss up. If you can hit your shots, it is better than Kar 98. But personally, like I said, for consistency, Kar 98 is better. So that's my tier list, man. We're going to be doing a character tier list in another video, man. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys drop a like. And if you guys really enjoyed the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications to get notified every single time I post a new video. As always, man, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.